Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Say Hello to the Bad Guys, the debut show. I'm Chef Boy Arpre. I got Chaga and Nicole, who goes by the name of what on Instagram?
Oh, Omnivert Blurred Lady is the name on Instagram.
All right, I'm gonna start with you, Nick. Well, not just because you're your family or whatever, but ladies first. Um,
Yep.
what made you come up with that name?
On Omnivert's a person who's like they can be extroverted, which I think I'm actually more of an extrovert. Now that I put that name on there a little while ago. I
Mhm.
would say now that I would consider myself more of an extrovert at heart.
Mhm.
But it's more so situational because I do like quiet. I like to get in a room and kind of be by myself and read the room and chill. So like I love conventions. I love to cosplay, but that don't mean I like to be outside some places. So it depends. So and a blurred. I'm a blurred. So that speaks
Yeah,
for itself.
she is Chaga. She is. I say this all the time. Of all of my family, cousins and siblings included, she happens to be the one that is most like me as far as like our likes and our dislikes as far as comics, movies, and pop culture is concerned.
Yeah.
Other than like certain tastes in music.
I mean,
Yeah, she's heavier on
I think sometimes when it's an age
Kendrick.
gap.
Well, yeah. She's heavier in Kendrick Lamar and TDE as opposed to me. That just comes with age difference because I don't Kendrick is alright with me, but he's not somebody that I listen to on an everyday occasion. But
No,
Chaga,
me
tell,
neither.
tell us tell us something a little bit about yourself. When did you get into comics?
I got into comics when I was like about 12 years old, but now, and as I been growing, and I kind of stopped.
Hmm.
But in 2017, I came back and just started collecting and drawing, and since that, I haven't stopped. I haven't stopped, but I'm going deeper into comics and to collections.
Yeah, because when I met you in 2020, yeah, you were buying books heavily.
Yes.
Yeah, you were especially on TFTV on IG, Ramon
Yeah.
and Roland. You were loading up. But what I did notice early on, you bought a lot of the blank covers, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, why are you buying so many blank covers? And then I realized I'm like, oh, okay. And then when you gifted me that Ultimate Fallout, I was like, I get it now. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was kind of a challenge for me because when it comes to blanks, you can't mess up.
Hmm.
It's really hard to correct an error or something, right? But that's kind of I changed my standards in a way that now every time I do a blank, I really need to plan it out.
Hmm.
It's not like you're sketching or something. It's harder, but
Yeah.
it's fun. It's a good challenge.
So here's the blank for everybody. He gifted me with, and I absolutely love it. He gave me
That's
this,
amazing.
3 years ago?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, something along those lines. So for anybody out there, look him up on Instagram at Chaga Jr. Man, and get some put in an order. Put in an order. He doesn't charge an exorbitant amount or whatever for some original art, but it's well worth looking him up.
How
I
long have you
highly
been drawing for?
Since I was little, but I went heavy on when I was like in 2016, and I started going to a group. It's called Tijuana Figure Drawing.
Mhm.
So there's live models and everything, and it was that was another challenge because you needed to draw the poses in 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So anything you can grab in just a little amount of time, and that's what made me a little bit confident in drawing.
Yeah, we share an aunt that can
Yep.
draw her ass off. And I've been trying for the past 3.5 years to get her to start doing some art on the book so that she can sell it. I mean, for as long as we've been alive, she's been drawing. Ridiculously talented, but she goes on her own speed and her own pace. Yeah. So, and she has her mind all in all different other things. Like, she's bigger on other platforms like Etsy and everything, selling different shit. and I guess she makes a decent. I mean, it's not like it's life-changing money or whatever, but that's her passion. But yeah, I'm like, say for instance, the book you did for me, how long did that take you to complete? Or let's say on average, how long would it take you to complete a book if you just decide to sit down and just knock it out without leaving and coming back like a day or so later?
I can't hear you.
All right, can you hear me now?
I can hardly hear you.
What about you, Nick?
I can hear you okay. And I can hear both y'all okay.
Yeah, I can hear you John.
My microphone is like kind of.
Oh, it's being cranky.
These temperature technology. I can still hear you, dude.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I need to jump out and jump in again. If that's okay with you.
That's cool.
Okay. Give me about a minute.
Right back.
All right.
So, Ed, what's the oldest book in your collection? Like, what's the oldest thing that you collected or picked up that you think?
The oldest book in my collection is an ASM from what number? I can't think of the number, but it came out in 73. I think it was published in 73. Okay. I'm gonna tell you a story real quick, Nick. What's the first comic book shop you ever been in?
Shit. I don't even know. I don't remember. I'm trying. That's a good question. Now I don't know.
Mine was.
I'm back.
So we were talking. What's the first comic book shop you've ever been in?
It was in Mexico, in Tijuana. And then it's I like it because it's been there like for almost 40 years.
The first one I ever went to was in Jersey when our great grandmother was still alive. And when I would go visit her, we would walk into is they called it downtown. Downtown in Hightstown, New Jersey, which was only like a fucking block long. But we would go downtown to go. There's like, I don't even consider it a strip mall. It's just a street with a bunch of stores, like little corner stores and everything, and a pharmacy. Now I was real young at this point, and the one thing I'll always remember is going in. It was like it would be like a newsstand or whatever. It wasn't like a bookstore, but it was like a newsstand that had newspapers, a couple books, like those Harlequin books that my aunt used to read when she was younger. And it sold everything. Like nowadays, those stores would be selling t-shirts, cigars, and bongs and all that other shit. But back then, they were selling books, newspapers, drinks, and they had a spinner rack for comics. First comics that I ever saw, it was a spinner rack full of comics, and he had a couple shelves dedicated to comics. And the first book that I ever bought that got me into comics was well, let me double back. She went home, I came back, and I got the first comic that I ever bought, and the first comic that I ever got on a 5-finger discount was from that shop. And they were both Amazing Spider-Mans or whatever. And that led me into my life of crime that I'm doing now. Once I started stealing comic books, it was all downhill. Then I started robbing banks and all that other shit. But but yeah, that was the first place that I've ever bought a comic book for. And that was shit. Well before comic books ever stores, like brick and mortar stores, ever became a thing.
I remember now. You know what it was? My mom took out on back in the day on Route 130. There used to be where the $1.50 movie theater was. There was like a strip mall with stuff inside of it. There used to be like little odds and ends, and there was a comic book shop in there. But I remember because
that was Delran, right?
Yes. Now I know that I'm grown, I know where I'm driving at. But she had got that run of the Death of Superman. I was a Superman fan. And she had that whole first printing of that run, all the individual books, and she had the big John with the Death of Superman. So that was like,
I got that book somewhere. They printed so many of them. It's not X-Men #1, the Jim Lee with the amount that was sold. You know that book is sold over 8 million copies. X-Men #1.
Wow.
I would imagine
it's the highest selling comic book in history, and it's one of the most graded ones too.
Yeah, most sought after for sure. I mean,
all right, let me what show me your 3 favorite books before we go digging into some topics.
Okay. So since we're gonna do it real quick, all right. So my favorite books, and actually it's a good place to start. My first one is actually like a 2-part. It's going to be the first appearance of Bishop. So X-Men 282, and I got the little brother there 283. So he's like my favorite.
You've always been a Storm person.
Yes, I have. I actually have this statue. So the one statue that I own is actually this one, which is of Storm and Bishop. They came out at GameStop a while ago. So this is like just nostalgia. I found these in Austin, in a comic book shop in Austin. So I was like, holy shit. That was when I was excited about this first one. The next up, off of just kind of one of my favorite covers, the one that you have back there slabbed, my Black Panther #1, the Ta-Nehisi Coates run of Black Panther. So this was just, and it was the hip hop variants.
Yep.
So I was just going over the hip hop variant covers with somebody, and
I'm still on a mission trying to complete them.
You know what? I realized I'm getting back on that mission. Love of finding comics with my mom is probably what started me on the cover hunt. So I was telling someone, like, hunting covers, it can become a passion, but it can be an expensive hobby.
Oh, sure. Hell yeah.
Real quick. On that note, another favorite. This was also just kind of hard. House of X #1. It was like a
I don't have.
Well, you can look at it. It's a pretty cover. This cover is hard. That's a hard cover right there. This is great.
I liked it, but the only difference is I'm a 90s X-Men, so I like the Cyclops from like the X-Men 97 with the blue and yeah. Once they made his headpiece like that, I'm like, man, he looks like a moron. So
those are probably my favorite 3 covers. Actually, it was kind of fun because I have like some Old Man Logan, some Wolverines I love. But a little honorable mention because I know how much you don't like this artist. But I had to show you. I don't know how family friendly this show is, but
I got a one of my guys, Nick's Kicks and Comics, is the biggest Scotty Young fan that I know, and he's gonna be on one of the future episodes, or I'm gonna have to fly out to Texas, and me and him are gonna have to box. But yeah, Yeah, and actually, when it comes to my turn, we're gonna double back the net. So, what about you, Chaga? What are your favorite books?
Well, I did the favorite. What I did is I selected three covers of
Hmm.
three artists that I follow a lot, modern artists.
Hmm.
First one, well, it's not that modern, but it's Stegman. I got
Okay.
this signed by him.
Mm.
So this story I really enjoyed it. Vanish,
Yeah.
and he teamed up with Donny Cates. So it was a nice one. Then and this guy, John Boy Myers, and it's signed by him.
I got a few John Boy Myers books.
Yeah, I love his signature. I don't know what is it about it, but I love his signature. And the other artist that right now he went to Marvel. Now he's doing a lot of Marvel covers.
Hmm.
It's Simone Di Meo.
I got a few of those. I got a
That is
few.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a pretty nice artist. He's gonna come um with the run. I can't remember which of the X-Men. So he's doing the interiors and everything. So he's a pretty good artist. He started in DC. Now he's doing a lot of Marvel.
Hmm.
So we're gonna hear
What
him a
what
lot.
um what books do you plan on getting slab next? Do you have any in particular that you absolutely want?
Ah, this one.
Ooh, oh my.
I
That's a
was yeah, yeah.
that's a very
That's the one that I'm thinking of getting slabbed. And also this one.
That Young, Scotty Young?
No, this is
who
not
is it?
Scotty Young. I believe it was. It's not Okazaki, or is it? I think it's Takashi Okazaki.
I'm
Okay.
just like, I'm like, now have I ever seen a Venomized Gwen? I'm just like, oh my, I am taken
No,
aback.
this is like the anime. I haven't read the story to be honest,
Hmm.
but I just fell in love with the cover, and this was really hot, a hot cover. It was really hard to find, and it wasn't cheap. It wasn't cheap.
Yeah, I can believe it.
And also this one,
Mm.
God of Wolverine, and it's a wraparound.
Yeah, where is that thing at? It's in one of these boxes. I got one of those also
Yeah,
because
I really
Wolverine,
love this cover.
Wolverine and Gambit are my favorite two characters.
Yeah,
Even though I grew up really on Spider-Man,
yeah,
and I've never really been a DC guy, really like that. I mean, everybody knew Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman or Super Friends, but yeah, I never really collected that much until the past few years, really. Um, which leads into mine. Here's one of my favorites. And I'm planning on getting this graded. This Batman Alex
Ooh.
Ross cover.
wow,
I
that's a
got
really nice.
this about a year and a half ago at a comic shop that is right around the corner from my mom, and we stumbled upon that. Well, she had been to the place before she rode past it, but she didn't tell me about it until like a few months afterwards or whatever. And then I just happened to walk up in there, and that's how I got the Amazing Spider-Man, the Gabriel Dell'Otto from 215, the six connecting covers.
Mm,
I've been hunting for
yeah,
those for like 6 years at that point, maybe a little bit longer. And I always had like two out of the six, but I never had all six of them. And then I gave up on trying to find them. So I sold those two. And then when I went and visited my mom, we went there and the dude had all six of them on his wall. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, how much do you want for him? And he was like, give me 150 for all six.
wow.
Yeah. So I was like, shit, I don't have 150 on me because I wasn't prepared to see this shit. I was like, I don't have 150 on me, but if you hold on to them, The following weekend, I'm driving back to Jersey. I was like, I'm coming straight here. I'm gonna buy all 6 of them off of. And he was like, I'll hold on to them. I can't promise you that they'll be here in a week. So my mom was like, you want me to just buy them for you and then just give me the money back next weekend? And I thought about it at that point in time, and I seriously did, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna wait. If it was meant to be, it was meant to be. Came back the following weekend, got all 6 of them. He happened to hold on to them. Man, I pressed and cleaned them shits and submitted them immediately because issue number 9 is the first appearance of Spider-Punk.
Oh,
so that's the most valuable copy. I think it's like in the 9.8. I got it on the back of my wall. In the 9.8, I think it's valued at like pushing three and some change. So that book alone was more than worth the 150 for buying all 6 of them. And then issue number 10, I think in the 9.8, I think that's like a little over $200 of value. It always fluctuates. I mean, at one point it hit, I think 9 hit it high at like 500, but it's come back down. And then one of my other next books is this one. It took me forever to find and be able to get. Was
Wow.
Yeah. It was years. It was years on top of years. I got the Jay-Z one 3 times over before I ever got my hands on this one.
And we're hoping one day he's gonna pass that down to me.
That's definitely going. This one is probably gonna be in the next shipment that I send to get graded. And then I grew up a G.I. Joe and a Transformers guy. So, and I was always a Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow dude. So this is my Miko Suwain with the bloody sword, because I got the regular one with somewhere back behind me with no blood on the actual sword, but he signed this one for me. So this one is absolutely getting graded. And I always loved this cover because Storm Shadow's in the image in the blade, and then there's the Storm Shadow one holding the blade the same way, and Snake Eyes is in that one. So I got both of those in a 9.8 on the wall. But this one is going to be graded also. And then my Jim Lee X-Men. And this is one of my favorites because it's Wolverine and I love the artwork. Plus, I can't see if you see it, but Jim Lee signed this one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he signed this one and he signed this one. These are my 2 favorites. Yeah, so I want to get these bad boys. Well, issue number 5 is not going to come back in a 9.8, nowhere near. But it's just a simple fact that he signed them, so I just don't give a shit. And then my last book, like I said, I grew up Transformers, but this John Jang Transformers. And the only reason why this is one of my favorites is because my nieces, shout out to Sabria and Jayla, they went to New York Comic Con last year, and they got this signed for me by John Jang because I wasn't able to go. So just for the simple fact that they went in and stood in the line to get this signed, and paid their own money too, because I forgot to send them money to pay for the signature, but they held their uncle down and got that signed for me. Oh, and doubling back to Nick. Nick's Kicks and Comics, not you, Nick. Everybody knows I'm a Gabriel Dell'Otto person. And notice that I didn't put any of those books, any of the ones that I showed was Dell'Otto. But I had to put at least one of this Dell'Otto. And the reason why this one is among my favorites is because Delato was at MegaCon earlier this year, and out of the blue, Nick hit me up, and he was like, "Yo, send me your address," and I wasn't thinking anything of it. So after I sent it to him, about a week or so later, that book comes in the mail. My first ever AOK or whatever, and he was like, "I know how much you are a Delato guy, so I got this signed for you," because he was working Delato's booth.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so I was dumb jealous of that, envious. So he sent me that, and that I posted on IG. I was like, "Yo," he gave me a mission to do. So I had, for about a month or some change, I went hunting on an autographed Scotty Young book, and I actually found one that he didn't have that was signed. No, I got it from TFTV.
Oh, you got him?
When they posted it, I was like, "Yo, I've been looking all over for one," and Ramon actually put one up. Ramon or Roland, I forget whose book it was when they put it up, but it was on their show. I was like, "Yo, give me that." And they put another Scotty Young book in it also, or whatever. And I sent both of them to Nick, and thank God he didn't have neither one of them. So, yeah.
Have you had a chance to go through this year's New York Comic Con's list to see who you want to get books signed by?
Oh, it's just strictly Delato.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. Well, depending on how much he charges, but I'll be in that line multiple times. No, but you know, I talked to my nephew today. I don't want to just name drop him because only you would know him. But I talked to Trasan earlier today because he's going for the first time this year with his sisters. His sisters held him down and copped him a ticket for Saturday at New York. And I told him, I was like, "Yo, I'm about to give you a couple books." I said, "I'm going to put them aside now, even though it's not until October." I was like, "I'm going to put aside, this is your mission. You're going to go in his line and get him signed for me on that Saturday." He's like, "I ain't doing nothing better." So he's getting 2. His sisters are going to get 2. And their friends that are going with him, I'm going to get them to do it on Saturday because I'm going Friday. So, well, we're going Friday.
Yeah.
So,
is he going to be all weekend? There all weekend?
Be there the entire time.
Oh, okay.
So, if you got any books that you want me to stand in line, Chaggy, you still have my address. Just mail them to me, and I'll get them done for you.
I need to check the collection. Jesus. I'm
thinking of cracking a slab, but then I run the risk of it not coming back at 9.8. But getting him to sign that was in my thought process.
Well, a signature doesn't automatically drop the grade because that's an imperfection.
It could sometimes, but if I'm getting them to sign a book, it's for the personal collection. I don't plan on selling it or whatever. Like, I got 2. I got this one in raw, and then right behind me, I have one signed of them ASM or whatever. But
I'm sure CGC is going to be there if he's signing books. I'm sure CGC will be at his table.
Yeah, they will be there. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though, which kills me, and I think this is a new phenomenon. When you go to the cons, now the artists are charging extra if you're getting the book signed to have it graded or whatever. Yeah. Like, I remember, look,
I don't even knock it. They know what the business is. They know what you're about to do with that book. They know what you're about to do with it. So.
Yeah, they do the most of the time. See, but then you got individuals like me. Like, if I'm getting Delato to sign a book for me, it's staying with me unless I get him to sign multiple of the same. Then that'd be something different or whatever. But if I'm only getting him to sign one particular copy, that is staying with me. I'm not planning on selling it. I'll leave it to the family after I left this planet or whatever. So yeah, even if I want to get it graded, like I'm getting it signed, get it preserved. The grade, truthfully, if I'm keeping it in my collection, everybody wants a 9.8. Hell, if they don't get a 10 or whatever. But if I'm keeping it in the collection, the grade doesn't matter. It's just how the book presents itself on the wall. That's all I care about. Now, it matters if I'm trying to sell it. Yeah, it absolutely matters. But yeah, if I'm getting Delato, that shit is staying with me.
Yeah, that's what I do with my books. If I get them signed, they're just for me. I won't
Yeah,
do it as business.
there's
And
only
then
a
and
handful of there's only a handful of artists that I'm keep Jim Lee, Delato, John Jang.
but Jim Lee charges like $200 for a
Yeah,
signature, if I'm
he
not
breaks
mistaken.
it back to
Yeah,
but with him, you got to buy like the package. So you get in it, like let's just say for instance, it's like $200. You get a certain amount of books signed, you get a picture taken with him, and some other things. So it's not like it's like 200 for one signature. You get some things with the package or whatever. But
I see.
there's no way in hell. If you're gonna pay 200 for a signature, you might as well get them to do a commission, or because that's basically what you're paying for a commission for some other artist. A commission on a book, like the one you did for me, they charge about 300-400 or something along those lines. If
No,
you're a Scotty Young or any of the hot artists at the time. See, when I went to New York Comic Con in 2022, the hot artist that summer was Peach Momoko. That was when the infamous Momoko incident where the dudes were fighting at her table.
she got under the table or something like that.
He was shook. Yeah, she was shook. Them dudes started scrapping because they wanted to be the first in line. See, here's what she was doing, which made her lines were like 4 hours long. Because at that time, what she was doing was her first 10 books that she just signed were free.
Wow.
So she was giving you 10 free books that were free. Anything after that, from book 11 to 20, I forget what the price was, but it was cheap as compared to some of the other ones. Anything more than that, you had to get to the back of the line and do it all over again. So, and she was charging $20 for like a little remark. So I only got her to if you can see it, she signed it for free, but charged me 20 for this little remark. And
Well, that's not bad.
But everybody has so many books or whatever because dudes were going straight to Whatnot as soon as they left the line. They were going straight to Whatnot to push them off, and they got the scrapping, and she got flustered. So I remember they tried to get Kale New to come calm her down. He was like a few tables away. They tried to get him to calm her down, settle her down, but nah, she was done at that point. So they moved her to the main floor. They moved her to the main floor, and they told everybody she's gonna start signing. This was around like 11 a.m. So they were like, she's gonna resume signing a little later. Go there if you want to get book signed so that they could better secure the area. And we went there. I remember me and my aunt were standing in line, and she was still done. So they canceled it. And what they did was everybody that was standing in line, they were giving out free issues of this Daredevil book. Let me see if I can. They were giving out free issues of this one. So I got one and my aunt got one, but she gave me hers also. It's sitting in my bin. I didn't get that graded, so I'm gonna get that graded. And if that comes in a 9.8, I'm gonna keep it and I'm gonna give her this one. She won't know the difference. Sorry, Lil. You didn't hear that because you're not watching. But yeah. So which is crazy because the raw book is worth more than the graded one. According to Cover Price, the raw book in a near mint condition is worth damn near 200.
Oh wow.
That and a 9.6 is like worth 180. So I'm sitting here like, all right, make it make sense because it don't right now to me. So
that just reminded me. I have a Venom Lethal Protector that has a remark by Sam De La Rosa on it. Now I'm thinking about I need to find that because now that's probably one. Should have you slap up.
And I don't have it because I have raided some of your collection. No, I know I don't have a Venom Lethal Protector.
Yeah, I don't think that one comes outside the box too much.
Yeah, I only got your iron. So, yeah. And then this is what I'm working on next, Chaga. I just removed this from the slab.
Nakayama?
Nah, this is
looks like a David Nakayama.
Nah, it's J. Scott Campbell.
Campbell?
Yeah.
Let me see that again.
The negative space.
Oh, I see. Yeah, the faces. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just cracked this the other day, so now I got to take it out of the plastic because I'm gonna press this and resubmit it to try to get a higher grade. So
that's a nice one.
Yeah, I just don't like the grade in it or whatever. So I'm gonna crack this bad boy. I'm gonna press it. That's my next project. I'm gonna press the shit out of this because the book, yeah. And I see where the flaws. Oh, all right. It has a color breaking tick in the top corner, unless that's like lint. But I'll know once I get it open. Other than that, this book is better than the grade that it came back in. So that's my
what
next.
grade was it? They came back 9.6?
9.2.
9.2?
9.2. So I'm definitely sending this bad boy back in. And if it comes back either a 9.2 or lower, I'm going to Florida and I'm going to burn CGC down.
See if they're hiring. Just relocate to Florida to get you a part-time job down there.
Yeah.
You know what? I wouldn't want to, of all the places, I'd rather work at an auction house or something like that. Like Heritage that are selling the book. Actually, I wouldn't want to do that either. Because those books, those $1 million books that be going up for sale, or the 500,000, I wouldn't want to do that. Let me find and going up next, we're gonna have 9.0 grade AF-15 first ever Spider-Man, and then they're gonna be like, wait, we can't find it.
Yeah.
Cause
your last day on the job, huh?
First and last, grand opening, grand closing. So my question is, I had a few topics or whatever, and one of the crazy ones is Sony the other day. Well, rumors are coming out, and I've been saying it for a while that Sony is washing their hands of the Spider-Man IP. They're thinking about selling it all back to Marvel. And I've been saying they should have done that forever because they just don't do his Rogues Gallery any justice. The Venoms were the best books. I mean, best movies that they put out. And they were mid at best. And then the Madam Web and everything else that came of it was ass also. So what, I don't know if we ever talked about it, Nick. What was your opinion? What should Sony have done? What should they do?
What they should have done for the fans was sold it so it could be done properly. Because if you can't do it, then give it to the people who can. I understand the decision to keep it from a monetary standpoint. Obviously, if I can keep it and y'all can, and I can have some kind of tie-in, but in the Sony not realizing earlier that they should just like release them more control, so it could have just been a better product sooner. To selling it all together though, I don't see that happening. It's just still the biggest selling IP across several brands for them. Like even when you talk about gaming, I mean, it's like they're granted at this point, I'm convinced Sony's about to get out the hardware business, period. So that's a whole nother conversation. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are certain aspects that they do start to let go of, but I don't see the Spider-Man IP being the one just because there's
so too much is that based on these. Is that opinion of you saying that they're going to get out of hardware? Is that based on some inside or just?
I mean, this is where they're moving. Like, there's no such thing as an exclusive anymore. So, truthfully, at a gaming system being $500 a pop, if it's going to be on PC, I might as well just buy a PC or buy an Xbox because it's going to get to PC at some point. And Game Pass seems to be a better buy for your buck if we're talking about what we can play long term. So it just they're phasing themselves out. There's God of War, once Last of Us hit PC, it was.
See, Chaga Nick used to work for Sony.
Oh, you talked to me about her. Yeah.
I used to brag about you, Nick, or whatever.
Yeah, I remember.
One of the first things people would always ask me is, "Yo, can your cousin get me a PlayStation 5?" Especially right when they drop.
Yeah.
And I would be like, "Look, I'm trying to get her to get me one." I was jealous as shit when you copped yours. I was like, "Ain't this about a bitch? She got it before me."
I mean, it was worth.
I was dumb salty because it took me a while before I was able to get mine. So yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, Spider-Man has a special place in my heart. So I don't know. We'll see. Because it's all going to come down to what's going to happen with Miles. It's the long game in the movies with Miles. So,
and that's the only reason why they're still holding on to it, because that's the only thing that Sony did correctly. The trilogy of Miles Morales or whatever, and I wish that it's not taking them so long to do the third one or whatever. I want to know what happened with the two Miles face to face or whatever and everything, and do the rest of the Spider-Man characters actually get to him in time. No, I want to see the 2 Miles box, Prowler and Miles. I want to see them. I want to see them throw hands or whatever. But I used to always say with Miles Morales how like everybody was saying who would make a good live action Miles Morales. And I remember a few years ago the what's his name, the kid from Blackish, wanted to play the role of Miles Morales. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm looking at the early animated, the first 2 Miles Morales movies, and I'm like, my nephew would make a good Miles Morales. I was always say that he looks like my nephew. I don't think I ever told him that or whatever, but I was like, and he probably wouldn't want to do that shit. I mean, unless
they won't have a hard time casting that character. I don't believe it's going to be okay.
It depends on.
Right.
It depends on if it goes over from Sony to Disney. If it goes to Disney or whatever, because I put it like this. What character have they casted in the MCU that they dropped the ball on?
Nobody. I don't think nobody.
I can't think of anybody either. Every single person was spot on, and from
even with the characters nobody wanted.
That made them popular because nobody gave it. Well,
who gave a shit about Star-Lord before the movies came out?
That's true. Now everybody loved Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians fans, but I mean, did nobody ask for that?
That's true unless you're a true fan of, because I don't own one Guardians of the Galaxy book. In my entire collection, I don't own one. Now I may have a book somewhere in here that they were a part of or whatever as like a guest appearance, but I don't own one that an actual Guardians of the Galaxy book. I think in my entire collection, I think I only own like 4 Iron Man books or
I
whatever.
got a couple of Invincible Iron Mans in there, but a bunch of rereads. So about that.
Yeah, see something like that. But like I only own like 4 Iron Mans in my collection and somewhere around here or whatever. But other than that, like I said, mine I don't own that many indie books either. Chaga, I know you got some indies.
Yeah, I do.
So
I got a bunch of regarding indies, what do I have? Well, indies in a way. I went Middle West.
Mhm.
It was a good one. It was Joe Corona with the Scotty Young,
Okay.
and then the other one it was called the Me You Love in the Dark. That
Yeah,
was
yeah.
a Scotty one.
Mhm.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them, but now I'm into right now is I'm really enjoying the Eddie Brock Carnage story.
Yeah.
That's a pretty nice
I'm
one.
I'm I just got those books somewhere. I haven't started reading them yet because
Yeah,
I do all things Venom and Carnage. I'm gonna
yeah.
tell you, Indy, my biggest regret to this day, I got near me in Delaware. I'm in Delaware. So within a 30-minute drive, and Nick, you've done this with me. We went a couple years ago when we did all 3 of my local comic shops.
Mm-hmm.
You remember going on that. So the third shop that we went to, which is the furthest away, but it's still I can get to it in less than 30 minutes. Like the one that I do the most of my business with, I can get to it in about 12, 15 minutes maximum, depending on traffic. The one in the middle, I can get to in about 20, 22 minutes, depending on traffic. Maximum. And then the furthest one is 30 minutes, depending on traffic. So this shop in particular, I'm still cool with the owner. She's real good people's. Years ago, when I was going in there because I had Wolverine run on my pull list at her shop. So I was going to pick up my books and she pulled me aside and she was like, "Hey, there's a new book that just came out today." She's like, "I've read it. I think it might be pretty good." She's like, "You might want to check it out or whatever." So I was like, "All right, let me see it." So she grabbed one of the first issue 1, cover A or whatever, and I looked through it and everything. I didn't read it. I was just flipping through the pages. And I was like, "Nah, I'm good." Or whatever. And I gave it back. I was like, "Thanks for asking." She's like, "You sure you don't want one of these books?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." Or whatever. Something is killing the children, number 1.
Wow.
If I knew
Mm-hmm.
then what I know now about that issue number 1 book, I would have bought them all. I would have sent them shits right to CGC. I would have flooded the market the moment it hit its peak, especially during COVID or whatever. Man, I would have flooded the market. I told her, I was like, "Nah, I'm good." So you talk about FOMO, fear of missing out.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I beat myself over the head for that for years.
On what print they're going right now? In what print are they going at right now? It's one of the books that it has like a various
crazy print
printings,
run.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Truthfully, I don't even know because the fact that I missed out on issue number 1, cover A of that book, I never bought another one. I never bought, so like every time somebody ever talks about, I mean, now its popularity is died significantly since its initial like from its high or whatever. But every time somebody mentions something is killing the children, I get like fucking PTSD or some shit. Whatever. I'm sitting here thinking, man, I could have had that. I'll tell you what. Before I ever started messing with Miles Morales, when Ultimate Fallout the first appearance of Miles Morales came out. I was at the comic book shop, and I forget what else came out at the same time or whatever. And I'm sitting there weighing, damn, do I want to spend the last couple dollars that I had on my budget for this book or this Miles Morales? And I'm sitting here looking, and I'm like, nah, I'm gonna put the Miles Morales back on the shelf. Yo, I swear, man, if you guys knew the mistakes that I made when it came to choosing some certain books over others, man, or my siblings would be whooping my ass right now. My younger brothers would be like, if they knew, like they never gave a fuck about comics or anything like that. They did their own thing, and my sister's the same way. But like, if they knew what Nicole knew or knows now, yeah, we'd be in the boxing ring right now. It'd be like a 3-on-1 because I coughed up a lot of books that I could have gotten for cover price, and I regret to this day. And those are probably my two biggest regrets, besides reading ASM 361, The First Carnage, or whatever. Yeah. I read that book cover to cover so many times, or whatever, that I just completely, like, if I would have submitted it a good grade, it'd probably come back like a 1.5 or whatever, something like that, or whatever, and trading it amongst my friends or whatever, letting them read the shit, or whatever. Nah.
That's why it's important to have a relationship with a good comic book shop that's gonna have a pull list. So they will set your stuff aside for you, and they will be like, if they know you, like, I know they prefer this cover if a variant comes in. So
yeah, like the one that I go to now, Captain Blue Hen in Delaware. I'm giving you guys a shout out or whatever. Yeah, they pull all my Delato variants because they don't really get them. They don't really order like the current Batman run. One of the variants is a Delato connecting cover. I think is issue 158 through 163. So the first 3 issues have already come out. The next one doesn't come out until next month, I think. But they pull all my Delato variants for me or whatever special. So but the thing that they started doing is they started ordering the Delato 1 in 25s, the 1 in 50s, and the 1 in 100s or whatever. And they were like, yo, you said Delato, so we started ordering all Delato. Like, yeah, that ain't in the budget right now. Like the 1 in 100 book or the 1 per. I'm sitting here like, God damn.
How much does a 1 in 100 go for? About what, 25? What?
Hell nah. Depending on the book, them things, shit. Probably like 100.
Oh.
Or probably more, depending on the book, the character, and the artist.
If you get lucky.
Yeah, hell yeah. Or whatever. Yeah. Even though like the 1 in 100s have has a cover price of like $4.99. But the problem is, those ratios, you got to order 25 of one book in order to get one of that or whatever. And them shops aren't trying to do that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever.
Just like this one.
They can offload those books.
This one is a 1 in 25.
Mm-hmm.
And the price back then was $60.
I was just about to say, like, it was 50 or 60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going up.
Yeah, that shit, it don't make no sense. So
that's when you go and you see that book and you're like, all right, I'm gonna leave everything else in there and I'm just getting this today.
See, and the thing is, like, the good thing about that shop is you got the pull list, and the more you buy, you build credit towards any whatever books that you want in the future. So, like, after a certain amount of books, you'll get like $5. Be like, you want to put the $5 towards one of these books or your total order or whatever and everything. So I try to let this shit accumulate or whatever and everything. But like initially when I first started doing it, like I'll pick up like $25 worth of books. Let's just say like $25. You'd be like, you want to use the $5 for that? And I'll just be like, yeah, shit, fuck it. And then I'll either pick up another book or I'll just save $5 or something like that. But then I started thinking, I'm like, nah, I need to start letting this shit accumulate so that I can get some off on their wall books or the books in the shelf or whatever. But I ain't disciplined enough like that because I'm accumulated so much credit with them or whatever. But I constantly keep having to build the shit back up or whatever just to buy an extra book or whatever. Or like when I dig through the back issues, because the current run that I'm trying to fill now is the Batman Volume 3. So I'm constantly going through back issues trying to fill the earlier run of that book or whatever. So like whenever I get that $5 credit, that means I go right back to Batman Volume 3 in their bins in the back issues, and that means I'm buying one extra one or whatever because my discipline is all fucked up when it comes to that. I need to let the shit build or whatever. So instead of buying that extra Batman, I can put it towards like a Uncanny 366 or whatever, or just as an example or whatever. Like if I could get like $25 off on whatever they're trying to sell the shit for, it makes more sense instead of getting an extra Batman issue number 42, which has like no value whatsoever. It's not a key. It's just helping me as a completionist. Mm-hmm. So what CGC announced a little while ago, Chuck, have you heard this? They're doing vending machines for slabs.
Vending machines for slabs?
Yeah. The slabs are going to cost $200. And the value of the books go anywhere from, I think it's like $60 to above what you paid for it. So it's a gamble. It's a gamble that you're actually going to get a book above it. So if I remember this, I'm looking at the stats now. So what it is, there's a 47% chance that the book that you get out of the vending machine is going to be anywhere in value of $100 and $150. So you're losing anywhere from $50 to $100 on one of those books at the $200 price point. There's 1,200 books that are going to be in the machine. There's a 22% chance that the value of the book is going to be between $150 and $200. So there's a chance that you may get somewhere close to value or equal value. There's a 24% chance that your book is going to be valued anywhere between $200 and $400. So now it's a coin flip on if you're gonna equal or max value. There's a 6%.
I think that's I don't like that, to be honest, because now we're gonna depend on the machine to authenticate it, and the other thing is, what's the fun of it right now? Getting it from a vending machine, because
especially
the fun of it,
like the character of the book or something that you don't collect.
Yeah, and the other thing is, it's like it was like it's like a tradition. You get it cleaned and pressed, and you get all this. Then you send it to CGC, and then you find out that whether you get a 9.8 or whatever. It's like a tradition, and you're it's I don't know. I think it's not going to be worth it now to depend on the vending machines, to be honest.
No, my thing is, if I was ever to spend $200 on a vending machine and there's a 1% chance that the book is going to be anywhere from like $800 to $1,600. So that means there's only one book in there of that value. So if I'm paying $200 in that vending machine, one, I'm going ski masked up with a crowbar.
Yeah.
Because if I spend $200 and I get that $100 book, which means I lost $100, down goes the ski mask and out comes the crowbar, and I'm cracking that bad boy open and whatever books are left in there, they all come in with me. However quickly I can get them loaded up in the car. Now I say this shit facetiously or whatever, or jokingly, but a lot of truth is said in jest. Nick knows me.
Yeah, and that's the question. Like, where are they putting these machines at? Because like, where is? I mean, it's gonna be some static.
No idea.
It's got to be at a booth at CGC. It's got to be heavily guarded because that's not a vending machine that's at a carnival.
Then I'm going in there with burners.
You're joking about that crowbar. You're joking about that crowbar, but that's going to happen.
Yeah,
that's going to actually happen.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah,
the whole machine gonna be gone. Forget the crowbar. I'll figure that at home.
Somebody wrap a chain around that bad boy and attach it to their truck and be going. Shit. Yeah, absolutely. Did you hear the?
It's not going to be the fun. It's going to be no fun because the other thing is that what's the point of collecting them? Like going to the comic shop and getting the comics. It takes the
fun out of the actual hunting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. It does. It takes the fun out of the actual hunting. Yeah. So did you hear? Did you hear there was somebody posting like a documentary style like article or something like Stan Lee had a ghostwriter?
Where's the doc at? Where is it? Where's the doc? Where's that?
Nick, I'll send you the link to it.
I got time.
These comics journalists, Zach Rabinoff and Josephine Reisman, wrote an article on Flaming Hydra. It's behind a paywall. And it said that they found evidence that Stan Lee hired a specific ghostwriter for in his Silver Age Marvel days. They said, and I don't know why they described the dude like this or whatever, but they're saying that some dude named Ron White, a gay, disabled, meth addicted playwright, has letters and receipts proving he wrote Spider-Man, including the famous issue where Mary Jane first appears and says, "Face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot."
I mean, if that's the evidence we got, sounds credible to me.
But why would they have to put in there, like, why would they have to describe him as that? Be like, yeah, just some gay dude who was addicted to meth. Come on, man. All you had to do was just be like, yeah, his name, give him his name or whatever. For like,
that's it.
You're doing it, and then it's like you slandering him or whatever and everything, even though he's the one saying, yo, I ghost wrote for him.
Well, what's the difference between a writing team? I mean, they got writers' tables at Marvel. Did we think that Stan Lee was writing it by itself? Is that the thought? Because now I'm about to crack one of these books open. Because I mean, there's multiple writers listed in the book.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be a long run. I don't think that. I mean, in my brain, I never thought Stan Lee was sitting down writing every single issue or coming up with every story by himself. No way.
That's too much work.
It ain't happening.
Because at that time, he's not only writing for Spider-Man, he was he writing for Fantastic Four and the rest of those along the lines? There's no way one man is doing all that writing. Well, for multiple, actually, no, because he wouldn't be writing for multiple IPs. Kind of like what Slott had his run with certain Spider-Man books, and then Chris Claremont had his run. They bounce from book to book. Like he did his X-Men run, then he goes and does something else, and then he goes and does something else. Like like Cates and the rest of them. So
yeah.
But even so, if he's writing ASM, yeah, there's other writers doing it with him. Like somebody else has to do well, but I could be wrong. I'm not plugged into the comic background like that. I just collect the shit.
Well, the only artist that I know that does his own comic, his own writing, his everything, art and everything, it's Kudransky. Have you heard of that guy, Simon Kudransky? He's
vaguely, but I'm not familiar with his work.
He did something epic.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that for a while, and then all of a sudden couldn't find him anywhere, and then he came up with the story named Blood Commandments, and did
Okay.
like 6 issues. So, and this is one guy doing his own comic book, and
Now,
now
go ahead.
he's
Go ahead.
coming back with another one, and the next few months it's called No Man's Land.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
So, oh, you heard of it?
Yeah, I've heard of No
So,
Man's.
so I think everybody had a different kind of writers, a different amount of writers.
Now, can you trust today's modern writers or whatever? With like, are they actually writing the books, or are they utilizing AI for the books to write the stories? Because who was the artist about a little over a year ago? The cover artist.
Martina.
Yeah. You knew where I was going with it. It was
Yeah.
utilizing AI for his cover art.
It was the Superman cover.
And has
It
he
was the
done
Superman.
anything since? I haven't really seen many of it.
Not that much. I think he's doing Spawn a little bit, but not that much as before.
See, and I
Since
used to
that.
like his cover art.
Yeah, me too.
I have a lot of Martina books or whatever, and the value of the books plummeted like a bitch when that shit came out. I was like, nah, come on.
There's got to be a safe space for artists somewhere. So
Yeah,
I mean,
there has to be.
Yeah.
Or whatever. In utilizing AI is cheating, no different than in academia.
Yeah,
And I deal with that shit a lot every fall semester, because I teach sports management classes and everything. So what we go through all of these trainings or whatever on how to combat AI in the academic world, because now these kids, they're graduating with degrees that they didn't earn. They're not going to retain any of the information. Now it's one thing in certain like majors or whatever, but for like sports management, you really only utilizing AI to write papers and everything, and that's more so in everything else. But what I just eliminate papers altogether or whatever. I just design my classes where well, it depends on the class, like, because I teach introduction to sports management, I teach sports law, and I teach sociology of sports. So there's sometimes where they actually have to write a paper or whatever, but more so, or with the test, I completely revamp tests every year or whatever, and I remove AI from it or what. I don't do multiple choice that much anymore. Everything I do is well, shit. Now that I think about it, yeah, they could use AI for that, because I use essay format or whatever. But then I tell them to think outside the box, and AI is outside the box when they sit here or whatever. Like, I give a question of, like, for instance, right after everybody started returning to normal from COVID in the sports world, all of the colleges and universities were doing layoffs and everything because they lost so much money when football shut down and men's basketball and everything else. So when they shut down, the school started doing cost cutting. And I remember I designed a question like, you're an athletic director at one of these major universities, let's say UCLA or University of Michigan. And the question would be like, what ideas would you come up with to combat cost-cutting measures in order for your athletic department to get back on track? Now, the time that I did that, I didn't even think that they could punch that shit into ChatGPT or whatever. ChatGPT would come up with different thought processes on how to answer the question. And then they submit the shit or whatever, and I'll be like, God damn, that's a good ass answer. And they'll fuck around and get an A or whatever and everything. And this was earlier on, before you could now with certain submissions, you could tell if it's AI submitted or whatever because of certain words in there. I'm like, dude, I've had you this entire semester. You don't talk like that in real life or whatever and everything. And I always equate it back to hip hop or whatever. So I'm sitting here, I'm talking to an individual for months on end or weeks on end, and their level of language is simplistic or something like, yeah, I went over here, I went over there, and like all of the answers, you can tell like their vocabulary is very limited.
Mm-hmm.
And they utilize AI or Chat GPT, and that simplistic vocabulary that they have went from Jack and Jill went up the hill to catch a pail of water or whatever, and it turned into a bomb atomically. Socrates' philosophies and hypotheses can't define how I be dropping these mockeries lyrically. I'm like, all right, dude, you weren't even talking like that shit 10 minutes ago. But now you're a fucking philosopher now? Come on, man. The math ain't math. So, yeah, you can catch that shit. All right, last topic. Me and Nicole, we've had this conversation, these types of conversations. All right, actually, let me preface this by saying this. Chaga, what's your favorite genre of music?
Right now,
Mm-hmm.
mostly I'm hearing a lot of pop, a lot of hip hop because of my kid.
Mm-hmm.
I knew who was Kendrick Lamar. I didn't know till the Super Bowl. I went like, who's this guy? I didn't know, but I'm hearing a lot of John Baptiste.
Okay.
I like that. I like his music, but yeah, and then but I'm old school. I go back to Big, Tupac,
All right.
and then Metallica, Guns N' Roses. So
Mm-hmm.
I hear pretty much of everything.
All right. So I'm going to end this, and I'm going to try to end this with something along these lines every show going forward. But today I'm going to end this recording because we are almost an hour and 15 minutes in. Give me your Mount Rushmore of your favorite artists. It doesn't matter what genre it's in. Your 4 favorite artists.
My 4 favorite artists. Jesus.
No, that's
Ooh.
for you, Chaga. Nick, yours is different. It's gonna be a Mount Rushmore. It's gonna be a Mount Rushmore, but yours is gonna be a tad bit different.
Okay.
So regarding music, you're saying, right?
Yeah, just any 4 of your 4 favorite artists. They could be individuals that you grew up with, or a current artist out right now.
Right now, it's a
Or let's
a
put it
mix
like
of
this, Chaga.
what?
When you're driving anywhere, let's say long distance, anything more than 30 minutes. Is there a particular song or an artist that you listen to for the drive?
I do,
All right, so
and
let's start the Rushmore like that.
it's like right now it's a guy from Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
He's called Karim Leon.
Mm-hmm.
So his music is very good.
Mm-hmm.
So I can hear him every day, any day, no matter the drive. So
Mm-hmm.
he's one of the guys. Then the other one, um, and I don't know, maybe it's for kids, or I don't know, maybe I'm too old to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Billie Eilish.
I did
Billie
not
Eilish.
expect that one.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
I did not expect that.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll be driving, hearing Billie Eilish, and I feel like maybe I'm too old for this shit. But I like her music. To be
You
honest,
got 2 more.
few more. Guns N' Roses. I like to hear Guns N' Roses a lot.
Okay.
And when it comes to right now, my that's my son's fall in his Kendrick Lamar, the latest songs. I can't remember the names, but
Mm-hmm.
I know I know the rhythm and everything,
Yeah,
but a
that's
bunch of
respectful.
Kendrick Lamar. Yeah.
All right, Nick, you're up.
You want that same? It's like my four, like.
And your four is your four favorite artists. Period.
Oh, my four favorite artists. Period.
Yeah,
Okay.
on your Mount Rushmore, without any criteria. Like it doesn't have to be
No criteria.
record sold or.
All right. I got you. I'm putting Jay-Z up there. I'm putting Bon Jovi up there. I'm putting probably Patti LaBelle up there. And I might throw Beyonce up there.
Not bad.
How
would I do mine? Well, Nick, you already know Hove is going up there. First and foremost, Jay's going up there. So the other three would probably be anybody that Just Blaze produce a song for.
That's a cheat.
Nah. You know what? We'll do that one for a different day. We're gonna discuss producers for a different day. So I would go Jay-Z, Stevie Wonder. I want to say Nas. Early Nas from Illmatic. No, actually from Live at the Barbecue into Illmatic. I want to say that. But and I want to say Big, but the problem is he only has 2 albums.
Yeah. And then when you listen to some of it, it's kind of interesting.
I always like Life After Death more than Ready to Die, though.
Yeah.
Because my 2 most favorite songs on there, I'm saving for a next topic because I'm gonna give you a homework assignment, Nick.
Okay.
What are your 4 best storytellers in hip hop?
Oh.
So
yeah, I like that.
For your favorite songs, like Big did 2 of my top 4. So I'll tell you one of the other ones is Jay-Z's Meet the Parents, where they're actually telling a story. So that's going to be a homework assignment.
Well, one of them, which I'm not going to use for that, but since you just threw that one out there, Jay-Z's Pray is one of my favorites. So we talk about, storytelling.
Okay.
In the song. That's just a great song. But yeah. Hov got a few. So I'm going to throw one of his out there. We're not going to use him because that's a cheat code. But
all right, then we'll and then Slick Rick's Children's Story. Can we count that?
Sure. Well, okay. I'll do, yeah. I like that.
All right. So I said Hov, I said Stevie Wonder, I said early Nas. I don't do Beyonce. I don't do Beyonce. Oh man. I don't really. I can't put Michael Jackson or Prince up there either.
That's Mount Rushmore, sure. Is that people on Mount Rushmore, ain't it?
Yeah.
Technically, I mean, they all did.
It depends on everybody's criteria. So I'm saying Jay-Z, Nas, Stevie Wonder. You know what? I'm going to throw you for a loop, Nick and Chaga. I'm going to put a group up there based off of. I ain't even thinking them. Nah, this is based off of 2 songs in their entire catalog that I still fool with heavily to this day. Foo Fighters.
Wow.
That definitely threw me for a loop.
My Hero.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that song. My Hero and Best of You.
Okay.
Or whatever and everything. Yeah. Those that would be. Now I categorize. I'm going to end it on this. I categorize my music based on a couple of different criteria. Like I have music that I really only listen to when I'm driving long distances. If I'm not listening to like a podcast, because I listen to a gang of sports podcasts and and different pop culture podcasts. So if I'm driving long distance, I'll have certain artists that I'll listen to. If I'm playing video games, I have another set of artists that are strictly for gaming. If I just want to chill and just want to get put in a certain type of mood, I have certain artists for that. And then if I just want to just go to sleep, I have certain artists for that. So it's like long distance driving, gaming, chilling, and something that'll put me to sleep. And the only one who checks every box on all four of those categories is Hove. And that's the only one, because he feels he checks all of the boxes. There aren't that many artists or whatever. Nick knows how heavy I rock with Hove, like everybody that knows me. So I want to thank you guys. I'm sorry that Mick couldn't join or whatever. So he'll be on, even though he's the co-host, Evil Eye Comics. He's one of the co-hosts of our group of bad guys. But Jason's gonna be appearing. I'm getting Ramon said he's gonna pop on.
Ramon?
Yeah, he's gonna pop on. So I'm gonna let you know when we're gonna schedule with Ramon, and so you can get on and we can bust his chops. I'm trying to get Roland too. If I could get them both on at the same time, but Ramon said that he's good with it. Just give him a heads up, and it just
Rolling is a tougher one.
Yeah, so if I could get both of them on at the same time, oh my goodness, we might get banned from YouTube. Those dudes,
they're crazy.
Yeah, them dudes together. I love both of them. Those are my dudes. When they first started doing live sales on Instagram, I was one of their day one guys. I was their first one. Originally, it was four of them. Before you joined on, it was Ramon Rawlin and a dude named Paul and who? Geez, why am I blanking on? Oh, Jimmy, J Mark Collectibles and Magic City Comics. I called them the Four Horsemen, and they originally started. I forget whose house. I think they were doing it from Paul's house first, if I'm not mistaken. Before the four of them split, Ramon and Roland went and did their thing, and then Jimmy and Paul did their thing. So they went from Paul's house to Ramon's house, or whatever. And once they transferred over there, the four of them stayed together for maybe, I don't want to speak out of turn for them or whatever, but this from my memory, they probably stayed together for about six or seven more months. And then they just decided to branch off into two separate collectives or whatever. I hope that there was never no beef between the four of them or whatever. But I used to love, man, I spent so much money between the four of those individuals over the years. And then I just stayed, even though like more recently, because of my teaching schedule, I haven't been able to pop in on the Wednesday nights or whatever, but I'm starting to slowly get back into it. Like I'll probably be back in their shows on a weekly basis starting in August and everything. So yeah, but I was one of the few day ones. Me, an individual named Turtle Toy Huntress, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I've heard.
Yeah, there's a few of us that we were there. We were there from the day one. So I want to thank you too, Nick, Chaga. I thank you so much, Nick. You got your homework assignment. I'm not gonna have you coming on every Sunday because I know your work schedule.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm planning on eventually doing multiple days, not just Sundays. Is just Sunday worked best today because I really wasn't doing nothing. Even though today is my birthday.
Hey, that's right. Happy
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, but Nick knows I really don't. I haven't really celebrated my birthday in like since my youngest brother passed away. So we went from a group of four siblings, to now we're down to my younger brother and my younger sister. I'm the oldest of the four. So once my youngest brother passed away, he was third in line. I stopped celebrating my birthday because he always made it a habit to be the first person before the day even started to wish me happy birthday. It was always a race to him. So once he passed away, it was just incomplete. So on my birthday, no matter what day it falls on, I just chill in the house and don't do anything except I spend some time just playing some of his favorite music that he loved when he was younger or whatever and everything. Even though some of it I really couldn't, it really wasn't my bag, but I would listen to it or whatever and everything because that's the shit that he liked. But yeah, other than that, nah, I just chill and I don't drink, so I don't get drunk. Even though one day I think I think I'm gonna get wrecked.
Well, I think in the very near future we're going to do a shot together. We were supposed to try and do one yesterday, but
yeah. My thing, I said the first when I went to Italy a few years ago. I forget how long ago it was. I bought my granddad a bottle of I don't know, some Italian wine or whatever, and he still has it. He never opened it, and he said that he wasn't going to open it until I was ready to have a drink with him. So I think the
sounds
first
like
time
a
I ever had,
podcast episode. I'm just saying.
it's gonna be what it's gonna be. So we gonna go grab so we might have to go over there.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, I want to thank y'all for coming, popping up and chilling with me for about an hour and 30 minutes or so. Yeah, Nick, you got your assignment. Chaga, we're gonna talk because you got to send me that book so I can press it. Do you want me to submit it for you?
Yeah, I would like that. Let me show it real quick. This was this one.
Yeah. I will absolutely submit it for you. And you know what? As being that you were my first guest of my debut show, I'm gonna clean and press that bad boy for free. All you gotta do is just get it to me.
I'll get it to you.
Yeah.
Hey, and shout out to my brother. He got me this book. He knows I love this book, and double signed.
God, Chaga, look, we've known each other. Hold on. We've known each other for 5 years, right? That is the one book of the Venom run that he knows I don't have. I've completed that run.
Hey, I haven't sold it. I still have it for you.
I've been trying to put together either a trade package of books for that fucking Venom book.
Oh, and not only that, check the tag. It's a null tag.
Didn't you have 2 copies of that at one time?
Yeah. Reason being is that I really like the cover. I haven't at that time. I didn't read it, and you know what? I bought it, and then all of a sudden I went to the comic check, and I told him, you know what? I want another run, just to read it and everything. And the guy said, "Well, good luck with number 3." And I went, "Why?" Well, that's very expensive.
It's a no, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been trying Nick for 5 years since I've known he's had this book. I've been trying to come up with a trade package to trade him for that fucking book in particular. And I would just pick his brain. I would shoot him text messages and be like, "Hey, what are you hunting for? I'll go flying for you." Just you remember this, Chaga?
Yeah, I do.
Like, yo, what the fuck can I find that he come up off of that book for and everything? And I'm still to this day. But one of the things that I said that we were gonna do on this show was we were gonna trade books amongst the guests. So what
Yeah.
you got to do, Chuck, I need you to do when we start doing it, yo, send me a list of books that you were hunting for your PC to fill runs or whatever
Okay.
ahead of time or whatever, and give me a list of books that you're willing to trade or whatever, and I will do the same for you because I want that fucking Venom to complete that run. That is the only thing I need.
I will be fair with that book, and
that's cool.
You know that I'm fair.
Whatever. If I gotta send extra books or whatever, or add some money to it or whatever. Look, I got that entire run, even the variants of every other issue, that entire run, except for that number 3. I got who did one of the variants for number 3? I can't think of it. I even got a variant for that, but is that cover A book that I need?
It wasn't segment. Who was the other guy?
Hold on, I'm going to cover price right now. Where my CLZ at? My CLZ at? Fucking Chaka, you would have got that shit.
My brother came up with the gift, and I went crazy. I was like, wow, where did I find this? So,
Nick, I'm telling you, Nick, for 5 years, I've been trying to pry one of those books from his hands.
Every time, Chef, every time I see those books in my office, I always think of you because I have one especially for you.
I got Tyler Kirkham's variant. Tyler Kirkham's issue number 3.
Was that a second print or something like that?
Nah, it's just he made 2. Let me know if you can see this.
Oh yeah, that was like an exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only one of issue number 3 that I had.
Because I know I remember the second print, but I know that it was the third or the fourth print that it's where Null is on the cover.
Yeah.
I can't remember which print, but that goes expensive.
Damn you, Chaga. I wanted that. Look, Nick,
I've been trying to get
this book from him for 5 fucking years.
Hey, I have it for you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Yeah. But nah, Chaga's a good dude, man, and he's one of the good guys that I've been fortunate enough to come across. So yeah, on one of the future episodes, we're gonna make this trade on air, whatever. And then probably what'll happen is somebody will be like, "Nah, Ed, you gave up way too much for it." And I'm like, "I don't give a fuck." So, all right, thank you too for hanging out with me, and Nick, I will talk to both of you guys later.
All right.
All right. I'll see you. Bye-bye.
Bye.